Welcome. I'm Abby Haggard, and this is Now What Wednesdays. So, if you are following me at all on the appcasts that I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays and have been doing for about 3 years now, we're closing in on 500 videos twice a week. I decided a short while back that it was time. It was time to start reintroducing the community that I live and work in. The intrepid few who decide to brave the odds and overcome the most fascinating obstacles in order to bring you entertainment, in order to lift you out of whatever the hell that is, in order to laugh, enjoy, sit back, allow yourself to be disrupted, pulled from whatever is going on, in order to smile. Because when you smile and then you start to giggle, and the next thing you know, you've got one of those big laughs going on. It just clears up everything. It just straightens everything out. And I said, Now What Wednesdays? And we're going to call it Now What, because on Wednesdays, for those of you who don't know, Wednesday, good morning, Rob. Do I have a thing to tell you? So hang on, let me just click on this. All right. So in keeping with Now What, we have a surprise today. So the beautiful thing about a Now What Wednesday is the day that you realize that you weren't ready to open. Show's always open on a Friday. Thursday is your last chance to do all the tech stuff. Make sure the lights go on and off at the appropriate times. Okay, you'll have it, and I'll have your complete and undivided attention in 2 minutes, I promise. So here's what happens. On Wednesday, you realize, oh, we're not there. We're not even close. And then the rehearsal on Thursday is a mad dash to try and band-aid everything just sufficiently to get us through the weekend, so that we can, on Sunday after the matinee, figure out what to do. So everyone I know goes through this. Everyone who is putting something together that they've never done before, defying the odds, defying the universe to create a show. My uncle's got a barn. Let's do this. Open an event, get something together with the team to motivate them, and it rains or it doesn't. All those things that are set to try us. And I said, I'm going to have an unlimited number of people to just come on and tell me their worst hilarious train wreck. Because there is something, I don't know whether it's fair to say unhelpful or deliciously helpful, that when it happens to somebody else, we find ourselves saying, better them than me. with love. So here's what happened. My guest today, the lovely, intrepid, takes no prisoners, Val Bogan, Ottawa, stage manager, director, defier of gravity and most of the odds. And I've known Val for so many years. She has so many great stories of me helplessly getting it wrong and her rushing to my rescue. And so she is my first guest, right up until she contacted me yesterday to tell me that in rehearsal, she's directing a show. She fell off. It's called a riser. It's a platform. She fell off one of the risers. She's the director, fell off one of the risers and broke her wrist. Well, of course you did. And other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, what did you think of the play? And she said, I can't do anything. I'm in a lot of pain, and I'm trying to text you with the wrong hand. I don't know if they're going to need to operate. And I said, so you won't be coming and joining me on Now What Wednesday? And she said, please and thank you, no. And I said, you're off the hook, my darling. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all shapes and sizes, let us raise a glass, a mug, a fist, a cheer to Val Bogan and her speedy recovery, because that's gotta hurt, right? Right. Okay. So now what? Now what? Good morning. So now what, Rob? Now what after we hit our head and fall down and bleed until somebody comes along? Now what? Now what, we trip and fall in front of a room full of people and pretend like we meant to do that? Now what? And the answer is we carry on. We soldier on. It's not so much. Good morning. Good morning, Susan. Bionic dance. I'm picturing Val, bionic dance. Just savor that this moment and be grateful and lucky and happy that you're not going to a class. So, so when my friend Val says I'm in pain, that's not just anybody saying I'm in pain. That is somebody who never, ever, ever doesn't show up. So this is important. This is serious. And Val, my darling, we all love you and wish you a speedy recovery. So what are we going to do now? Well, it's going to give me time until 6:30 tonight to figure out how to split the screen because Susan is going to join me this evening, and, and we're going to talk about the pitfalls of something because I'm not giving her any warning. I don't want her to panic and worry and start planning things. The spontaneity is the magic, right, Susan? So here's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about pain. I think pain is good. We ain't going to jump no more. Yeah, you know what it is? See, it's not the jump, it's the landing, right? Rob just says, if that isn't the introduction to the opposites, nothing is, right? This show is my introduction to your opposites. How about that? So, so here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the crazy thing that happens in our heads somewhere in there, that in the moment that we are totally focused, totally focused on whatever, we don't really feel pain. We will in a minute, but right now we're on something else. So in keeping with Val's experience, I'm going to talk about the time that I tripped over a prop left on the floor backstage at a dinner theater produced by an intrepid team, hosted by a raving lunatic. And when I tripped over the offending thing, I fell backwards and cracked my leg on the underside of the stage. And I swear to you that for a moment I believed I could see Cleveland. It was one of those, because you know your shin has no protection. It's out there in the wind. And I cracked it a good one. And everybody backstage turned and looked. And I had my hand over my mouth because you know, and the thing is, I was only back there to pick up something to go on. I wasn't back there to have a sandwich. So I didn't have time to deal with whatever this was. And I certainly wasn't going to look down and see whatever this was because it was beginning to feel sticky. Sorry if you're having your breakfast. So it's not the fall, it's the sudden stop at the end. You got it, bionic dance. You got it. It's the momentum that is whipped out from underneath you, along with that thing that happens. So everybody heard it. And everybody turned their heads. Presumably everybody in the audience heard it because between us and the audience was a curtain, right? And then I heard the actor on stage say the thing that was my entrance cue, and I walked on. And I walked on. I didn't limp. I didn't moan. I just strode on like I owned the place. And it was a sketch. It was a dinner theater with a kind of a variety show. There was music and there were comedy sketches. And this was a mock-up of a television interview between someone from the legitimate news station interviewing somebody who had questionable interests in politics. And so it was going to be highly adversarial, and it was scripted as such and fun. Okay, so I walk on. The thing is that poor actress sitting there heard the noise also, and presumably was wondering how they were going to do that sketch without me, since it was a conversation. And then her eyes lit up when she saw me come. And then she got back into character, of course, because she was this slippery, slidey, arrogant character that she was portraying. So, but that moment of like, was a dead giveaway. I've saved you. So I walked out and I sat down and I crossed my good leg over my bad leg, just in case, because I didn't want the audience to be horrified if they happened to see anything running from the wound down my shin. And I embedded the longer at the time nails into the palms of my hands, and I kept my hands on my thighs. And every time I could feel kind of a spasm that was going to derail me because I had an accent. I was being very accented, you know. And so I, I had my fingers, fingernails digging into the palms of my hands. And we did the sketch. Thankfully, the whole time I knew that the sketch after ours, I wasn't in. Uh, so, so we did the sketch. I have no conscious memory of any part of it because all I could feel was the pain and the concern that the remote stickiness was moving down my leg. The rest of it, I was just arrogant and nonchalantly dealing with her. And she was a bit nonplussed because she wasn't sure if everything was okay. And there was nothing I could say. I couldn't go, fine. I couldn't do that. And I don't know, I think it was a 3-minute sketch. And it only lasted about 47 years because, ow. And the thing is, the audience didn't pay to see me writhing on a wooden floor in agony. They didn't pay for that. They paid to come and have a lovely dinner and enjoy the wit and the naughtiness and the mischievousness of the authors of the show and the talents of the performers. And, oh yes, and in between each sketch, there's a beautiful, beautiful woman who played the piano, playing us on and playing us off. She heard it too. She heard the thunk crack noise. And so when I came on, and here she is playing, but her head is turned instead of kind of out to the audience, her head is turned to me, and she's got these really big eyes. And the thing is, there's all these beautiful people. Here's what goes wrong. There's all these beautiful people. They are within inches of you, and they can't help you. You're on your own. You're just out there in the wind if you want the show to continue. It's as simple as that. And so while Val was not part of that show, Val was certainly part of many other hapless examples of, dear God, now what? That almost become the reason we do it again. It is almost that challenge to say, can I make it? At least she didn't play you on to the Benny Hill theme. Can you imagine? I would have hobbled over and smacked her. I'm sure I would have. So what we're talking about, if you ever need an example of the phrase break a leg so that you can get in the cast, seems irrelevant. Yeah, it seems relevant, John. Yeah, and don't come within an inch of me right now because oh haha. Alana, good morning. How wonderful to see you here. I'm working on our stuff. Right now, I'm talking about the things that go wrong. Like this morning, my guest with a broken wrist who is in pain and just said, I can't, please, can I please not navigate the keys and I said, of course, of course. So we all have compassion for each other. Alana, who I just said hello to, she manages small, beautiful fundraising events for churches and local communities. She's lovely and she works very tirelessly. She has a small child, family, and she's decided to take me on. So she wanted to see this morning exactly what it looks like when we go live with no idea what's happening next. I expect to hear a door slamming in the distance and Alana finding somewhere else she has to be. So the question on our minds when the guest isn't here is not, oh, well, I guess that's all. No, the guest is coming back. The magic is that we are here. We are here together. And every one of your comments is delicious because, in one way, shape, or another, you have been there. You have been here. We are remembering similar moments. So I don't have Miss Val. And when I do have Val, she will have all kinds of stories. So I'm not gonna rob her of her content. What I am gonna say is that we live for moments when the people who show up have the opportunity to do it. Well, good morning, Freddie. Thank you, John. Thank you. I'm not slamming my door, I promise. Oh, yeah, really? You just quietly clicking it shut. John, I'm not sure you knew. For some reason, I can't see Freddie's comments until after the video. So this is wonderful when somebody says hello, because that way I know you're there. I know you're there, Freddie. So, and for all of you who aren't commenting now, presumably you spat your coffee onto your phone or your keyboard, or you were trying to be doing something else and you've had your own wait, what, now what, listening to this. Welcome. My Tuesdays and Thursdays are designed to talk about life hacks that allow us to switch gears, recalibrate, and move on. Now What Wednesdays are pure fun. The others are fun too. The others are a learning process. This is a living process. There's something about show business that makes you say, why would I do anything else? There is something about it, the challenge that never quite goes away, right? So the other thing I want to say today, because this is clearly going to be shorter than I expected, Val was going to fill in the other part. Hang on a second. And by the way, cheers. I'm also introducing something that I want you all to kind of enjoy. I want you all to see what is about to happen. So I'm bracing you. So this book called Fame was published in 2016. I chose to do it in order to interview several of the kids from the show and a lot of other professionals that I've worked with over the years. And the book is fabulous. It has all kinds of wonderful, you can't even see it, all kinds of wonderful backstage pictures that nobody's seen. And each chapter is a full interview with a celebrity, with the person who chose to do this exact thing I'm talking about. Challenging the universe and saying, now what? And bringing it. The book I'm currently working on is called Fame 2. Now, this is the rough. This is the one you get back from the printer, and it's got a little banner across it that says not for resale. And that's because this is the author's proof copy. You open it and you say, why is everything sideways? And what happened to that? And why is the printing backwards? And then you get to fix it. This is what you are able to do as a publisher that you can't do in a live show in real time. Now, the reason I am showing these to you, the reason I'm explaining them to you, and I'm saying, so this has been available on Amazon, on I think all the Amazon channels around the world since 2016. And you can find it by clicking Fame, the Collector's Edition, Abby Haggard. This one is going to be live in about a week because I've just finished the edits. And this version was only 58 pages. The finished version is going to be 90 pages because I found stuff, exciting stuff. And so basically double the thickness. And just to give you an idea, tons and tons and tons of fabulous pictures of all the crazy, wonderful live events. And it's called We Are the Unforgettables because the Unforgettables are us, not the celebrities from over there. We are the people who keep their fame alive. We make them unforgettables. So we are part of the fuel that drives that magic. That's why it's called that. Now, I also want to tell you what this is. This is a commercial. This is a paid commercial brought to you by AH Publisher. It didn't feel like a commercial. It felt like part of the conversation. It felt like Abby talking to you about something incredibly cool. And that is why the kinds of commercials that I am going to be doing on Now What Wednesdays moving forward are going to be the kinds of commercials nobody wants to delete, everybody's fascinated by, and how amazing is that for your business and you? It's personal. It's not an infomercial, it's an abfomercial. And I'm starting it because the other thing that I've been working on for 7 years, Pivotry in motion, is the lion effect concept. Is this a commercial? Not yet. This is a truth. Pivotry in motion. We are free to be as soon as we choose. How we achieve it, how we feel like we own it, is the lion effect. We collaborate, we collect, we engage, we transform together. That's what this is all about. And what have we got here? I'm not slamming my door. I like what little I've done in show business. I don't want to be famous. I belong behind the camera, not in front. Well, you know, bionic dance. Here's the thing about being behind the camera. Every famous person, all the time, is looking straight at you. When that little light comes on, you're the one behind it. We are all relying on you to make the show come alive. So we may not see you, but without you, it's an oil painting. So never forget that. You are famous among the insiders. You are the reason we can do what we do. It's a quiet fame, a small f fame, but never forget it, because we never do. So today, a physical injury derailed my powerful, indomitable, original thinking, Val. So, and I've just told you that I couldn't think of anything else to do other than get up and go back out there, because what else was I going to do? And that's really what happens. It's something that clicks in our brain. It's called a state of flow. And I did a bunch of science looking up on it, because it seems like a real thing. You look at athletes and nothing seems to faze them. You know, they fall down, they get hurt, they get back up and they keep playing. Now, maybe somebody, bandages them or gives them some kind of a numbing effect, but they keep playing. And the reason they can keep playing, aside from what someone may have done around the site of the injury, is that their head, their thinking, their feeling, their focus, their repetition, their practice, their pattern is do it. Keep doing it. Don't stop till it's done. This is part of what is intrinsically human. We're aware that we're doing it. We're aware that we are going in search of the training and the motivation and the support from our crew, that it's something we can do. It's brilliant when we realize we have it. It's brilliant when we realize we're in it. And it's exhausting when we get out the other side and sit down for a minute. Book Abby now for an event. Alana, you see how wonderful Alana is? She just did a small commercial. Book Abby now for an event, and she has provided the live link. When you are watching this, when you are seeing this, all you need to do is click on that link, and she will take care of you. And then I will come along and cause the utmost damn astonishment. So what we are talking about today is how we elevate and override in order not to survive, to thrive. So I have one other painful disaster moment. that I could share that was equally surprising, equally involved a fall. Many of the things that happened to me appear to involve me having issues with gravity and balance sort of at the same time. And so it was another kind of a dinner show event. Maybe it's the dinner show thing that is my nemesis. I never thought of it that way. So it was another dinner show. Hang on a second. A really beautiful old vintage home, one of the originals in Ottawa, Canada. Ottawa was around in the early 1800s. Lumber town at the time, became a political center, now the capital of Canada. And this was one of the early homes. And so in order to watch this show, you had dinner downstairs, and then you went up and sat in the room, probably would have been the upstairs sitting room, I would imagine at the time. And there were two ways to get upstairs. One was the main staircase, very grand, beautifully carved, what sits and who sits, and rugs and whatnot, paintings on the wall, tapestries. And then there was the back stairs that the staff back in the day would have used. And there's a German word for staircases like that. And the word is Gemeingeschaft. It's a steep drop in the dark, because they would be carrying lamps or lanterns going up and down the stairs back in those days. Who needs light? I'm sure there's a light switch somewhere, but on this particular occasion, first of all, I had never used that staircase, and secondly, I was a little busy. So I'm waiting for my cue to go on, and this time I'm not divided from the room by a curtain. I am divided by a door. Okay, so there's a bit of a silence, a baffle going on. And so this one says this and this one says that, and there's a ha, 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 ha from the audience, so things are going well. And then it's getting time for my entrance, and I'm standing there in the dark, and I, take a deep breath, make sure that everything, fluff my hair, make sure my lipstick's on, get ready, take a deep breath, and promptly fell backwards down the stairs. All of them. I don't know, 207, maybe, not really. Just felt like that. I disappeared. Had you been standing next to me, I disappeared. Phew, gone. Not silently, though. Here's the thing about falling backwards down a flight of stairs. It's noisy. It's really noisy. You know it's noisy, and you can't help it because A, dark, B, busy, and you don't want to do anything to damage your face or your hands. So you're not going to, so you just keep falling backwards, and for about a year. And then as soon as you get to the bottom, you take a deep breath and run back up, because it's your entrance. And so you sprint madly up the 107 stairs. You get to the top and open the door and walk in and say whatever the hell it was. And the thing is, I don't remember much about the fall. Just hurry up. And the running. Bleeding? No, I'm good. All right, nothing sticky. Okay, walk on. Walk in. Say my line. Okay, I'm the only one looking like it's okay. There's 150 people in the room. There's 150 people. No, sorry. There's 154 people in the room. There's 150 of them, and there's 4 here. My director and stage manager are over there. My co-stars are all like this. Click. The audience is doing the same. And so I said my line again, and one of my co-stars blinked and replied. And then the other 3 gradually roused themselves, and the audience just sat there mesmerized. Fortunately, my entrance at the end was sort of the closing of the scene. It was like I was the last thing, the last hurrah, and then everybody would laugh, and then the thing would come to a stop, and somebody would walk on with a thing that said, intermission. The actors would all leave and the audience would go downstairs and have a drink. That was the plan. So, no, no. What happened was I said my line. Nothing happened. I said it again. I got the reply. And we had the exchange with four startled, dry-mouthed co-stars. The audience did nothing. The audience was an oil painting. Could not believe what they were seeing. And so when we did our thing, ta-da, ta-da, and then left the building, well, went the other way, and the guy came out with the thing that said intermission. He's walking across, nothing's happening. So he walks back and he holds it up and he says, ladies and gentlemen, it's the intermission. Go downstairs, have a drink. I'm going to join you. And they all laughed and then they went downstairs. Stage manager didn't join them. He had work to do. We go backstage and my director is standing there and she says, are you all right? And I said, what makes you think there would be anything wrong with me? And she said, because you were the only one out there who looked like there was nothing wrong. Therefore, you are the guilty party. I have no idea. I looked down and miraculously, I was fine. Miraculously, nothing broken. No great gashes in my pantyhose, no shredded, rendered bits of clothing hanging from various parts of me. Hair did not look like I had just been backwards through a wind tunnel. Makeup was pretty much okay. And my other co-stars were still standing there. And I said, could we breathe or something? Could you just relax? And then one of them said, you fell down the stairs. No. I was learning sound effects for a movie I'm in. He said, you fell all the way to the bottom. I said, yeah. That whole law of gravity thing, apparently it's correct. Yeah. The only thing that stops you is a hard surface. And he said, I don't know how you came back out there. And I said, well, what else was I going to do? Order a sandwich from below? And so then we just carried on. The director said, okay, well, we've got 10 minutes. Let's do notes and let's keep going. And we did. We kept going. The second act was a bit of a letdown for the audience. You follow that? I have no memory. I don't even remember what the show was. All I knew was that this particular disastrous moment was the most cataclysmic inconvenience, and could it just hurry up and get itself over with? So I know you're sitting here thinking, how is she still alive? And I welcome that concern of yours because it has crossed my mind as well. The other thing I do want to share, because of course I can't just tell a silly story without telling you why I think it's important, why I think it matters. It certainly pulled everyone out of any kind of reverie they might have been in. It certainly stopped everyone in the building from being upset that the 7-day diet didn't work. It certainly called a halt to all the other inconveniences and unhappinesses and uncertainties in life. All of the dreads, all of the dark terrors paused. And for a brief and shining, if we want to call that the right word, for a brief and shining moment, we had 110 people completely engaged, completely aligned, completely connected in every way possible. And that is magic. I don't really want to have to fall down flights of stairs to activate it. However, I did know that that's what happened. I did sense it. I did see it. When we watch comedy shows, good morning, Maggie. Good morning. When we watch our comedy shows and the entire place howls with laughter, or we go to our concerts and everybody's up and they're moving and they've got their lighters going and they've got their phones going and they're dancing and they're singing and they're cheering. It's the same thing. There is a palpable and intensely positive connection. And there are no differences dividing us. We're all there in that moment, however short that moment is. We're all there in that moment for the same reason. And we're loving every minute of it. And it's unforgettable. It is truly one of our unforgettables. It is one of our backstage stories that we say, remember the time. Remember it. That part of my leg still twinges when it's raining. And Val's experience, I can't wait to find out what riser she was standing on. Apparently that wasn't the idea that the universe had in mind for Miss Val. And so, but we will hear that story and many others. So what I have planned this afternoon is a conversation with a very, very intrepid and resolute and stubborn and committed and driven and inspired woman who decided to change her life. She decided to stop doing what she was doing pretty much on every level, pretty much in every way, and do something different on purpose. And she hired me. And it's been quite a journey. And I said, would you like to be on the first Now What day? And she said, I'd give anything. And I said, perfect. All right. They will see us together talking at 7 p.m. And she said, what are we going to talk about? And I said, I'm not telling you until 6:30. And what about the hecklers? Last night, you watched a bunch of comedians destroying the hecklers. Well, here's the thing about hecklers. Hecklers are fuel for people who do stand up. Hecklers are the part of the show that didn't come to the rehearsals. Hecklers are kind of the live event that's going on over, under, around, and through that the rest of the audience gets to participate in some way, sit next to, wish they weren't. Hecklers become part of the show. They understand it, and it's up to the stand-up to keep them in check if they can. And when they can't, and when they don't, that becomes another kind of show entirely. It's like watching competitive sport. When something happens in the crowd, when a fight breaks out between players or coaching, it stops being about the show. It stops being about the game. It stops being about the primary reason we came. And that's selfish as far as I'm concerned. If you want to have a show and you feel like being a heckler, perhaps it would be interesting if the comedy club one night had a show for hecklers and they got to stand up on stage and see what it feels like. That'd be interesting. I'd go to that one. Wouldn't you? So everyone is part of the show. Everyone brings an ingredient into the mix that is the perfect recipe for unforgettable. So we have another show live, 7 o'clock. Susan and I are going to get together at 6:30 and figure out what on earth and how, because I have never done this before with a guest. So this is going to be, I was going to test it with Val, who could walk me through it. But no, the universe said, oh, why make it easy? Let's make it interesting. And that's what's happening. So I did one commercial and I'm going to do another. And this one is for a fellow event brave hero and entrepreneur. And he has 2 businesses, The Print Guy, Ottawa, and Ottawa Golf. And if you are a golfer and you live in the National Capital Region of Canada and you are in need of services or opportunities with golf, you need to check them out. He's got 2 websites. And I have a story when he's my guest. We're going to talk about at least 2 stories that we share that could have been almost did astonishing disasters. And yet, here we are. So there's a tease and another commercial. So when you're thinking about it, if you have a business, see how much fun my commercials are? We'll talk and reach out to Alana and we'll see what happens. Okay, so with the other shows on my Tuesdays and Thursdays, what I always end with is this. Thank you for watching. Without you, it's a rehearsal. Be good to you. No matter how much of a hilarious train wreck it is, you deserve the goodness. Absolutely unconditional. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. So I'll catch you later if you're available. 7 p.m. right here. See you then.